you usually work with your own screenplays, and this is your first feature working with someone else's screenplay. So what drew you to the story, and can you tell us about the evolution of the process?
Well, I've written for myself only out of desperation because I've basically never read a script by someone else that I've wanted to direct until this one. And I didn't go into filmmaking thinking that I would always write my own screenplays. I didn't know what my career would be. And I'm offered screenplays, and I open each of them with a prayer, please, Lord, please let this be the one, but there is no God. Until this one, and this was just happenstance. And it reached me miraculously. The writer is not from Nebraska, but his parents were, and he would spend his summers in a godforsaken little town in northeastern Nebraska. And so he was writing very much from memory and from experience, obviously with some sour cream on it, to turn it into a comedy because he's a funny guy. But it reached me because the title of the screenplay was Nebraska, and I'm the Nebraska guy. And had it had the title from another state, it might not have reached me. But I liked the austerity of the screenplay. It was only 90 pages. I liked this very, very deadpan sense of humor, which suggested to me a visual style which might be reminiscent of early Jarmusch, just as one of a few different influences. And that's why I accepted to do it.
And can you talk about your aesthetic choice? You're working with Payne Michael again here. He's a frequent
cinematographer.
And I guess that choice for the black and white, which is so compelling in this film, what prompted that?
Well, I had always wanted to make a film in black and white. Most of the films I watch are in black and white. I don't have that prejudice against black and white. Indeed, I've been hungering to make a film in black and white. And I knew that the film that I might eventually be able to make in that format would have to be on the cheap side, which this one was. And I still got a lot of flack from the studio, from Paramount, trying to convince me any way they could to shoot it in color. And even the producers and the DP were saying, come on, Alexander, maybe you can find some desaturated color. It's like, no, man, it's got to be it's not the same thing. You got to work in black and white. And I would tell people till I'm blue in the face, can you prove to me that fewer people saw Manhattan, Raging Bull, and Schindler's List because they were in black and white? But eventually, it worked out great. We agreed upon a very shrink-wrapped budget, and then I had complete freedom. And now they're very happy that it is the way it is. But you ask about a choice for black and white. It really wasn't a choice. It was how I saw it from the very first time I read it. And as a filmmaker, I want to have access to all tools of filmmaking, including chroma or lack thereof.
And can you talk about the casting? It's a magnificent cast. Obviously, Bruce has been accoladed for his performance. I think Will Forte is also extraordinary and is in a sense playing what can be quite a difficult performance, is the sort of more of the fall guy in a way.
The straight man.
Yeah, exactly. And also June Squibb, who plays the mother, I think, is just terrific and has
It's a flashily written part.
Yeah.
She's got good lines. No, she does.
Can you tell us a little bit about, were you drawn to them as actors immediately, or how did the casting evolve?
Well, look, a movie can be anything, but in the type of narrative cinema we deal with, it's two main things: screenplay and casting. Those are the two things that really the audience responds to, and those are the two things which give the director problems in the editing room. If they're not right, problems in the screenplay and problems with casting. So I felt the screenplay was sound. I then spent a long time, well over a year, in casting and in location scouting. And because I knew, I mean, all my films have, but this one to an even greater degree, a union of seasoned professional actors, non-professional actors who might do community theater or work in short films or industrials or something, or lesser known people in TV or movies, and then non-actors. And I knew this one was going to really live or die on its non-actors, retired farmers, people from Nebraska who have the faces and the accents which would paint that picture really accurately. And you can find those people, it just takes time. So to cast Bruce Dern and June Squibb and Will Forte was kind of a standard audition process and see who feels right to the casting director and me. The more interesting and intricate process was finding the non-actors. And we put advertisements in small-town newspapers throughout Nebraska and Iowa and advertised on rural radio along with the farm reports to get people to put themselves on tape, or we knew that some of the retired farmers we need would not respond to such calls, so we targeted their children. Their kids maybe in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who would say, come on, Mom, come on, Dad, let me put, with the flip camera or the iPhone, and then email us an audition. And slowly but surely, things began to filter in, and then we met some of them and found out, and then found the ones that we felt would deliver reliable and vivid versions of themselves once the cameras are running. Usually when I begin a film, I have some inkling as to what the music might be. This one was an exception, though. I really had no idea, and I knew I'd have to be completely open during editing. And I imagined that I would hire my usual composer, Rolf Kent, an Englishman, to do the music, but early on, my music editor, also an Englishman, said to Kevin Tent, the editor, and to me, that he had been listening to a group called Tin Hat Trio, led by this fellow, Mark Orton. He said, I don't know, why don't you guys try this music? So we began putting that music to picture in a process that I'm sure many of you know is temp music, but the more we listen to that music, the more we imagine that it should become the permanent music. So we contacted Mr. Orton and then began tailoring music specifically for the film. It's very much in an American vernacular, I feel, but with kind of European touches to it as well. I will say this, I've been getting a lot of comments about people responding to the film, relating it to their own experiences with their aging parents. As you say, telling them lies, trying to give them some shred of dignity, maybe late in life. I think that's an act at once selfless, but also selfish. Sometimes we want to give our parents dignity just to make ourselves feel better, that we have these people as our parents. And I don't know. I just finished the film, and I'm only now, it hasn't even been released in the States, so I'm only now being asked questions about it and being forced to take what's been an intuitive process and turn it into words. And I think it is quite personal to me, even though I didn't write the screenplay originally. The love I feel for my strange home state, and then also whatever feelings from my own experience about taking both my parents are alive and they're elderly, and having to deal with them both in beautiful and insane ways. So it's in there. I don't want to put my finger exactly on it because I'd want to say that responsibly, but it's all in there. Well, the oldest cliche is the truest, that 90% of directing is casting. And so I spent a lot of time before shooting with my casting director, really, really ferreting out the right people. And especially this one, my budget was so shrink-wrapped because of the black and white issue that I had fewer days than usual to shoot the film. So I wanted to make sure I had the right cast so I wouldn't have to waste any time on the set coaxing performances out of people. You want to get people, you always want to do that, but particularly when there's a gun to your head. So working with actors, there's the script, there are the marks. Please hit the marks, recite the dialogue exactly as written. Usually a little, please do it faster. Often actors are too slow. I'm simplifying because we'd have to talk about it more in detail. And I like to tell actors the truth. Cut, that wasn't very good. Could you please do it better? And I have ways of saying that more diplomatically, but not really. And they appreciate that. I like being dealt with honestly, and I think actors do too. And I'm there to help them. Please say it a little bit more like this or like that. I think working with actors, the most important thing is to maintain a very relaxed atmosphere on the set, so they're not feeling as self-conscious as I know I would feel were I in their shoes. And there are no mistakes on set. That's why God gave us take 2, and take 3, and take 4. They don't have to get it right the first time, whatever right means. And every day you shoot too, it's not like the theater where you're doing the whole damn thing in one night. When you're making a movie, it's only 2 or 3 pages a day. You've got 12 hours to do it, so you find a way. Well, that's what life on this planet is about, is it not? Yeah. I mean, I guess I could imagine doing All Is Lost or Castaway. And then it's one's relationship with oneself. But I'm interested, no matter what genre or scope of film I make in the future, and I hope to make many more. I hope I have that luck and success and health to be able to do so. I like human films. I like good stories about people. I don't like violence in films very much. I want this one, the screenplay, had, for an American film, a climax which, rather than an act of violence, was an act of kindness, which attracted me very much to the screenplay. And yeah, I aspire to make literate, human stories like they used to make. And that's all. It might be a family, it might not, but thanks for the compliment inherent in your question. Thank you.